This chapter of Chainsaw Man was awesome. While only 15 pages this week, these 15 pages were simply mwah, chef's kiss. We had one hell of a return from Katana Man and one hell of an introduction to a brand new fiend. So let's break down all of that and much more. If you enjoy Chainsaw Man, then you're in the right place, as we talk about new chapters of Chainsaw Man whenever they drop. So get subscribed and drop a like on this video to help this video reach into the almighty algorithm. This chapter picks up from 143. The Chainsaw Man church students are now armed with AKs and handguns to fend off anyone who may come into the church. Nobana is surprised they have this many weapons, especially given that it is a church. And the head of the church says that basically these are weapons of light, bestowed upon them by Chainsaw Man to help them drive out the darkness from within the government. While kids cheer for Chainsaw Man, there is just one thing that I was thinking about when I saw this scene. Isn't it deeply ironic that Denji lost both Aki and Himeno due to the Gun Devil's impact, while the Chainsaw Man church considers firearms to be divine blessings? Something to think about. So, public safety officials outside the building send in 2 Special Division 7 agents, one through the back and one through the front. That's what she said. So we see a silhouette dive through a mural and rolls to their feet to reveal another, I'm sure to many, waifu. Wait. That's Nobara. No, that's Nobara. I can explain. The hammer, the nails, the suit, the head injury, hair. This is without a shadow of a doubt Nobara Kugisaki. I even did the research and I found an image of Nobara that Fujimoto drew. This is like that meme where they say, "Mom, I want Nobara Kugisaki," and then the mother's like, "Son, we have Nobara Kugisaki at home." So Nobara is like, "Oh my, what do we have here? Why, they're all Muppets." Which is, you know, if you're not Ba'o'wa, that is slang for sweet children, because I did the research for it. So I assume this new girl is British, as that is slang in the United British. So anyway, she says kids shouldn't play with guns, and then proceeds to, in a hail of gunfire, beat up all of the students firing at her, and then proceeds to nail them to walls via their clothing. And what I like here is that because of them being children, she tries to deal with them in a non-violent way as to not hurt them. So we get this really cool sequence of events where she defeats all of these students by nailing them to the walls of the church. It's almost biblical how she is nailing these kids to, you know, a wall in a church of all things, if you catch my drift. But I will say there is something so refreshing about this character as she does this, nailing them to walls while espousing them to not put guns into these children's hands. I mean, this whole thing was just so much fun. So as one of the kids is nailed to the walls, Nobara asks him to make a promise, which is to stop using guns and to instead use mechanical pencils, which the kid readily agrees to. However, because he didn't speak politely to her, she nails the kid in the head with a hammer. And just let me tell you, I didn't expect that, and part of me was like, wait, why'd she do that? But then again, you know, this is Chainsaw Man. Wouldn't be so beloved if people just didn't straight up randomly kill people like this. So the head of the church is confronted by British Nobara and proclaims her as the public safety dog. It's nice to hear that said again, by the way. There was something so nostalgic about that. He says that he's not like them and will become a devil himself to fight evil with evil and devils with devils, that he is justice incarnate. Now, at first, I thought this was the Justice Devil, but I don't think this is actually the case, mainly because he says he'll become justice incarnate and that he will become a devil himself. If he was the Justice Devil, he would, you know, just be the Justice Devil, and he'd probably say it. As well, some nice details is that based on the feminine legs of the church head, that the Justice Devil should be a female. I have a theory it is taking inspiration from Lady Justice. Many people may know her from that Metallica album, but this is actually a real figure used in the justice system, at least in America. It represents that justice is blind, that her scales are used to weigh which is good and evil in a very meticulous fashion. So I think this points to you simps getting another devil to, fittingly, simp over. So the head of the church swings at Nobara, but we see the familiar teeth of none other than Katana Man, who has returned, likely from his prison cell in public safety, fully healed and freshly impotent. This chapter was absolutely straight fire. And I think Fujimoto, above all else, is hellbent in making this meme a reality because gosh darn is Nobara such a fun addition to this series. My headcanon is that she is British based on the words she was using and how she was very polite in her speaking. Reminded me totally of something like Mary Poppins, but, you know, brains. Also, does she have any ties to Cosmo, which is Quan Chi's girlfriend? We know that she had some brains hanging out too, some of them even tied into a bow and a droopy eye. Just a thought. But I do find it really funny that she has almost the exact same, well, we'll say injury in Chainsaw Man that Nobara does in Jujutsu Kaisen. Just feels, I don't know, really meta. As well, the return of Katana Man is going to be quite interesting, as we know Aki and Denji went to town on his junk. So I wonder what Katana Man's reaction will be when he meets Denji again. Is it water under the bridge, or is Dennis under the bridge in water? As well, this absolutely confirms the fact that Reza is coming back, and it's only a matter of time. The fact that Fujimoto brought back Katana Man shows that he is cooking something up and is making us wait for the real main event, which is the return of Bomb Girl. I'd say next chapter, but knowing what is happening next to the story, which is the fight at the Devil Church, it probably won't be, as you know, they have to defeat this devil. Could be wrong, but that's what I'd do personally speaking if I was him. So, what do you guys / gals think about this chapter? Who do you think the new fiend is? And as well, what are your thoughts on Katana Man's return? Do you think we're getting Reese? Or do you think otherwise? Let us know in the comments. As well, financially support what I do here on Patreon. There, you'll gain access to my mega One Piece arc reviews. Thanks for watching. Bye-bye.